All right, welcome, CvCISO podcast listeners. This is episode 36 of the CvCISO podcast. And joining me, as usual, is Jordan.
Hi.
Hello. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And Meg's here too. Hi, Meg.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
When you say everyone, are you talking to us or are you talking to this hypothetical
The hypothetical
audience?
universe.
I like
Oh,
your
man.
vest, Meg.
Thank you. It snowed, so I'm feeling a little festive.
That like powder blue, it looks nice on you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I concur. No snow here.
We have about
No
5
snow.
inches.
We have no inches. We're talking about snow, though. No inches on the snow, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Thanks for clarifying.
I'm not following you down that rabbit trail.
good. Yeah, I don't know.
Not
Well,
gonna
I
do
just,
it.
You just did.
you'd
Shoot.
think, I don't know. Thank you. All right. Well, in this episode, I figured we'd do three things. We'd do an update on the Academy. I think some of the people who are already in, the CvCISO community might be wondering, well, what's happening in 2024? What are we planning? All that kind of stuff. And then the people that are interested in the CvCISO program or other things that the Academy is going to be doing, what can they expect? So I figured we'd tackle that first, and then we'll get into 2024. This is always the time of year. I think it's healthy to reflect, like, what the hell happened this year? It gives you some perspective. And I think that helps you prepare for the third topic, which is, what's coming? What's coming in 2025? What things are each of us doing, thinking about for the next year when it comes to, cybersecurity stuff? Sound good?
Sweet, yeah.
Sounds perfect.
I'm excited where this episode's going.
I'm also excited. I'm happy. You're excited. I'm feeding off of your excitement right now. Your excitement
Here.
is like a protein bar. Hold on.
Do you want more? I can get really excited if you want me to.
This is what your excitement is like to me.
Are they sponsoring us yet?
Well, it's Kirkland brand. I don't know. Does Costco actually sponsor anybody?
Kirkland.
Lots of-
Hey, if anyone has a connection at Kirkland, let them know. We eat their protein bars, or Evan does,
Evan does.
on our show.
Yeah, I'm having the chocolate. I believe it's the chocolate brownie protein bar.
Can you explain it? Can you give us eat it and give us a review of it?
Yeah, it's a protein bar.
Add the flavors.
Protein barish, basically. Chocolate brownie-ish. 21 grams of protein, 15 grams of fiber, which is good for my excretions. Let's put it that way.
Everything a vCISO needs.
Yeah, stay on top of your protein,
Gotta keep the plumbing up.
especially as you get older, man. The protein, it keeps the muscles, you start to get like flabbier. And then you can work out and you're still flabby. It's like, well, then you got to up the protein probably.
Yep.
All right, let's go with the Academy update. What's going on with the Academy? Where are we at right now, Meg? Are we finishing up a cohort right now, or did we finish
We
one?
are. Actually, they just ended last night or Wednesday night. They just ended. So we got another CvCISO test exam date coming up, February 12th. For anyone that has finished the course and never had an opportunity to take the exam, that is the next exam date. We ended, jeepers, I don't have numbers.
What's a
I can look
jeepers?
that up while you're
What
talking.
jeepers?
I can look up some numbers while
You're
we're talking.
Midwestern.
That's exciting to have. We have several, I don't know how many. If I were to guess, I'd say we probably have 30 more CvCISOs for 2024.
Awesome. Totaling. So what's the grand total these days?
That's what I'm going to look up.
Hmm.
It's over 200.
Awesome. Well, and the next cohort starts January 6th.
January 6th. Yep.
Okay, and that's
the
for
next
the CvCISO 1.
CvCISO
course.
1. Mhm.
All right. And then,
And CvCISO E, which is the complex environments, that is available as an asynchronous course, so fully on digital. You're not meeting with people on a regular basis. I more or less just help guide you through it if needed. So that one is up and running. But what I'm really super excited about is this new hire. And I think that we'll get the other two level 3 courses up and running hopefully fairly soon, within the first quarter of 2025.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Well, this new hire is the senior director of the academy, which I'm also excited for because it takes the things that we're missing. I mean, I was actually interviewing one of the candidates yesterday, and it's like the CvCISO program and the academy, the last year or two, it's kind of like pilot, right? Proof of concept. Is it working? What things are working right? What things aren't? And I think we're really happy with, this pilot part, but now it's time to grow up. Now it's time to take it to the next level. It's time to treat this like it's a business. It's time to dedicate personnel to it. So yeah, this senior director is, I think, going to be awesome because they're going to help you, Meg, in the community part, the teaching part, the kind of the glue stuff that you do. And it's going to take the things, the reason why all the level 3 courses aren't completed is because it's me, and this person bridges the gap between me and you. And I think I'm really excited for it because I think all the people that have invested time, their own money, all that stuff into the CvCISO program, you're really going to see it explode in the next 12 to 18 months.
And you're still interviewing?
Yep. Yeah. And the candidates have been fantastic. I mean, the quality of the candidates has been amazing, which is good because I think we can get kind of picky. We can get kind of choosy about the candidate. And then we're looking to do the actual hire on board sometime the first week, probably, of 2025.
Exciting.
Yep.
Nice.
And then Meg, you just, I think, pulled the trigger on the new LMS system, or at least you're going to soon.
Yeah, new LMS. So I did contact them yesterday or the day before, whichever day you told me. I think that was 2 days ago. So the ball's rolling there. And it's basically, there's a lot of AI features within the new LMS, which I'm really super excited because I'm not an SME on this, most things that we talk about. I think with the new leadership, whoever it is that we hire, being an SME is going to be it's really going to help us move the ball forward. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's this pilot time over the last couple of years. I think we've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. And, it's at this point now where it's like, okay, now what? We need that structure. We need that formalization. And, we need to grow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really fun.
There's no doubt in my mind, like my leadership, there were some missing pieces. I've never been a big on marketing and sales. In fact, most of it, I was just like, what? You want me to do what? I've never even heard of this. So it was a true challenge and way beyond my skill set and my desire, honestly. So having somebody in here who can really focus on that aspect, because there's so much interest in what we have to offer. And people that come, the feedback that we hear consistently is, we came for the content, stayed for the community is one of them, but also just the excellence of the content of what it is that we're teaching. And we've got organizations that came through the program and then sent everybody in their organization through the program. That speaks volumes. So I think with the right person in there that can truly work on the marketing and sales of what we have to offer, and then us improving as well. Some of those gaps that were there, because between you and me, Evan, I think this person is really going to fill those gaps.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Well, I know the things I'm not good at, and I'm not good at managing things.
Yeah.
I'm good at leading things, creating things, ideation.
Yeah.
I'm good at frameworking things, good at, creating first versions of stuff. But usually that first version of creation, it really does take so much out of you that you don't feel like doing it again. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to refine, the CvCISO 1. I don't mind if somebody else does, but that CvCISO 1 course, that was all developed on the fly, and it's not healthy to do that, but it is kind of healthy. Otherwise it wouldn't have gotten done. Something has to motivate me or you enough to actually want to do it. And then once you get to that finish line, you're like, oh God, I don't want to do that again. And that's where I think another person picks that ball up and everybody benefits from it. It's going to be cool.
Very cool.
So,
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, we had a lot of questions, when we had to make some of the organizational changes at Security Studio. They were like, what does this mean for the Academy? What does this mean for the CvCISO program? And those are all legitimate questions. And I think it should be clear now that the commitment to the Academy is ongoing. The problem is still there. And so we need to, continue to work together to make this better. And then there was also a lot of questions about, when the senior director position was posted, like, I thought Meg was doing that. Like, is Meg still going to be here? It's like, oh yeah, Meg is definitely still going to be here. It's not a replacement for Meg. It's a bridge between me and Meg so that Meg has better, I think, less frustration, better direction. You have an SME who can SME regularly for you. Whereas, when you try to get in contact with me, I don't know where the hell I'm at. I mean, it's not that I don't want to help and don't want to do the SME stuff. It's that I'm scuba diving or I'm running new electrical or I'm just doing something stupid.
Yeah.
So
no, I fully, you and I have talked about this, Evan. I'm not an entrepreneur, and it's not. There was just some gaps there for me, and so I think that this is a really positive move. That I'm thrilled because now I can focus on what I'm good at.
Yep, it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So how about
I did look up the numbers. So we had, and I misspoke, we had 51 people become CvCISOs in 2024. 51. And we currently have a total of 165.
Nice.
165 CvCISOs.
And that's a great pilot. You know what I mean? It proves things out. We learned a lot of things about what we can do to make it go faster and better. I think because...
And that's just who actually achieved the certification, right? That's not total that been through the program, right?
Correct. Yep. Those are just the people that took the exam and passed.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that number doubles or triples next year.
Right. That's the plan.
There's a lot of industry to fix.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's cool. What about 2024? And if you have questions about that, by the way, if you have questions about anything that we're talking about with the Academy and you have, Meg's contact information, drop her a line. Otherwise, drop something in the Discord. Make sure that you get your answers, that you need. So I'm never really sure how well I communicate. Like if people are like, what the hell did you just say? It didn't make any damn sense.
That's usually how I feel. Yeah.
Well, my wife too. We should bring her on the podcast.
What you're saying right now.
I don't even know who you are. I don't know how I got here. I thought I was actually in the bathroom and I just shut myself. Boy, here we are again.
Thanks for sharing, Evan.
Yeah. What's that smell? Oops.
The way you said oops, though, it was almost like not an oops.
I've done that before. Yeah.
I've stopped trying to control these yahoos.
Yep. All right. So
that sounds like a great 2025. I'm excited. I think 2025 is going to be great.
2025, one of the things I'm excited about for next year is we're adding a monthly chat. I'm just calling it a coffee talk. And I've got members of the community that are volunteering to teach a session, just a 45-minute something, like one's doing vulnerability management. We've got a variety of topics, and then take a 15 minutes of the time for Q&A, and then just kind of say hi to everybody, because
that's cool.
That's one of the things that makes it difficult with our community, is that we just we don't have opportunities to continue to connect after the class is over.
And I'd like us next year to spend more time too in helping our community grow businesses in this. You know what I mean? We've had few partners that have had tremendous success, in growing their business, offering vCISO services, and others I think that are still kind of like, well, I'm not really sure what to do, maybe lacking some confidence. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with if you're in that boat, I think there's a lot we can do to help. Because to that end, FR Secure has a vCISO service that just blows up. I mean,
Yeah.
they've already got, I think that we closed out this year north of $30 million. And I think there's already $19 million booked for next year. So if you didn't sell a damn thing, but that's the beautiful thing about the way vCISO services work is their monthly recurring revenue, their longer term contracts, which isn't the focus. The focus is to provide this great service to people, to their organizations. But through that, these are some of the benefits, And so I think teaching other companies on how, because an FR Secure doesn't, rather, we always felt like instead of us fighting over the 10, 20% that are actually doing this, meaning that the total addressable market, why don't we work together and go get the 80%? That's what the big win is. That's how you fix the broken industry. So I think you'll see a lot more involvement from our partners that are having success, sharing what's working for them with the rest of the community so that you can grow your business too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I personally think that the local chapters, if that gets rolling and expanding, is going to be a nice part of that.
Yeah.
If I could bottle up some of the things that we've done in the pilot of the local chapters to this point, like, that just to me is the place where you can collaborate at that level together. Yeah.
Have those relationships. Yeah. And that's one of the things, when you look at the 2024 in review, I'm so proud of that group. I'm so proud of you and the others that have participated because I'm watching, I'm learning as you guys are doing this, like what's working, what's the magic in this group so that we can bottle that up and put those, in other places.
Yeah.
Because it'll go hand in hand as the academy grows. We want to grow that piece too. And kudos to you guys for doing it. You guys,
Yeah.
it was your idea. You took the time. You've invested your own time, your own money. To watch that it's amazing, man. So kudos.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would say that actually impacts, I think, the greater community and the CvCISO program as a whole. We were just talking about it a bit this week, is just the idea of, like, as you're, in a lot of ways, it doesn't matter what you're providing, because we have people in our group that they're not vCISOs and they're not really necessarily planning on being vCISOs. They're a part of an information security team on a company, or they're a CISO, or they're, then we have some people that are doing that and maybe wanting to dabble in the vCISO. Then we have some people that are full on vCISOs trying to build that. But one of the things that we felt was like a selling point, no matter what you're in, is the idea that this community and the training and the certification and stuff that we have is this way to kind of unify what you're delivering, and you can you can talk to your clients and kind of say, hey, if we ever have like personal differences, you don't like me, or you don't like how, we don't connect relationally, there's a team of people that approach security the same way, and you could plug them in to your business, and they would basically just pick up where I left off and do it the same way with the same, ethics and approach. And so that was kind of this connecting point. So that, even no matter what you're doing, there is this like pipeline to the certification and the program, and this, like, I don't even know what else to call it, but just like this ethics, this way of approaching this that's kind of now out there, and wherever you are, that you can connect to it.
Yeah, that's one of the goals was really to bring some standardization to the practice. And I think that that's one of the benefits of participating.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what the motivation was at the very beginning. And I've told the story before about kind of the last straw for me, was that meeting, and, 3 well-known, well-established consulting companies were asked, how do you do your vCISO services? And it was so just messed up. I was like, we need to standardize this.
Yeah.
And that's the original motivation is, and you need to do it in a way where the customers benefit. There's always value built into it. There's mutual accountability. It's not just, I'm a vCISO and I just do stuff you tell me to do. No, there's no leadership in that. What companies really need, small to mid-sized businesses, what they really need is information security leadership. They can't afford a full-time CISO. And even if you did get a full-time CISO, how do you know you got a good CISO? Because it's not just vCISO that's disjointed and not standardized. CISO practices, CISOs themselves are also the same way. The thing about CISOs, though, is as a large company, you can kind of afford to make the mistakes that a small to mid-sized business can't afford to make. That's the difference. And that CISO space, there's so much training there, and it's all just, not all, it's good training. That market, that training the CISO market is kind of just messed up. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Good trainings, but no standardization. There's no one way that you should be doing CISO work. So maybe someday we'll take the Academy, because that's the thing. We talk about what's coming in 2025 with the Academy. We've got all those other things. We'll also be rolling the CISSP mentor program into the Academy, which I think is awesome. We started the CISSP mentor program in 2010 with 6 students. It was essentially just me at FR Secure, but people kept saying we don't have enough talent. So we decided to do free CISSP training, and 15, we've done it every year. And the total number of students that have been through that program now is over 100,000. The last 3 years alone have been 20,000+ each. So the things that we've learned in building that other program, bringing that into the Academy, it doesn't take long to get from, the 100 some odd, these CvCISOs we have today to, tens of thousands. It's just, how do you make those connections? How do you do it correctly? That's what the senior director will do. So
awesome.
that's pretty exciting. And there'll be other trainings. Once we get our feet under us, I don't think they'll come in 2025. I think we'll be spending almost all of 2025 on building out the rest of the CvCISO program, the level 3 courses, the mentorship stuff, growing the community, formalizing things, building the CISSP into it. That's what 2025, I think, is going to look like. I think beyond that, we have tons and tons of ideas. And I say we, it's not me. It's people that I talk to regularly. It's my support group. It's my leadership team. They kind of do lead me, but they try to, you know what I mean? Anyway, they've got lots of ideas on, all kinds of technical training. I mean, red team, blue team stuff, incident response training. So you'll see these modules, and I think that'll be an added benefit of being part of the community, is this continuous learning.
Yeah.
Which is so important. I mean, I'm 30 something years into this industry, and I'm always learning. You never stop learning, ever. You could, I guess, but then you would suck, and then you can't complain about sucking because you chose to suck, I think.
Maybe they're learning how to suck.
Yeah, there's that.
They're still learning. They can't get away from it.
And that's one thing I was curious, like when you talk about learning, what things are you guys learning? Whether personal, business, it doesn't matter. Learning is learning, and you're adding into your own. You're just making investments into yourself. So it doesn't always have to be, well, I'm learning this security thing, that security thing, just like anything. What are you guys learning today? Are you studying anything?
I wouldn't say that I'm studying, but I've definitely learned a lot over the last 2 years. It has been a challenge for me. I'll be perfectly honest. Yeah. So, it's been it's helped me to understand more about who I am as a human and what are my actual skill sets that I can embrace and be proud of, because I tend to be a perfectionist.
Yes.
And so when I'm in that struggle zone, and I'm getting emotional, I don't know why.
That's okay.
When I get in that struggle zone, then it's very difficult for me to function.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you grow a lot, Meg, as a friend, and as a coworker, and uncomfortable sometimes, but I think if you were to look at yourself today compared to 2 years ago, are you a better person today? I think 100%, 1,000%, you're a better person today than you were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you weren't, I would tell you.
And
You know
more
me.
in tune with just who I am.
Amen.
That's the biggest thing.
That's super cool, Meg. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jordan, are you learning anything right now? Are you studying anything?
Yeah, I got a couple. So one thing one thing that we're reading as a leadership team is the book Making Work Visible: Exposing Time Theft to Optimize Work and Flow. I'm at the beginnings of it, but it's I think we're trying to fix inside of our organization just time waste, getting interrupted and just projects not getting done, people saying they don't have enough time, but it's like there's and so some of this book I think is about like lean Kanban. I'm not all the way through it, so I don't have much, but that's something that I'm actively learning and reading with the leadership team. I was teaching my kids this morning a nugget of wisdom that I'll share with you that I have learned in my life, and I have to keep reminding myself of. Also, I guess before I go into the fun one, CMMC too. I got CMMC's my death trap I'm dealing
Your
with right now. So I'm learning all that. That's my future of when we get to future of 2025. That's my future for a while, I think. Anyway,
sorry to hear that.
But hey, this might even connect with that, because when you're irritated, there's a tip. You want a tip on what to do when you're feeling irritable? And let me paint the picture for you. It's Christmas time. You walk into Costco on a Saturday.
Need to say more.
And it's chaos, busy. I don't deal well with that. I don't deal well with like noisy areas with crowds and stuff like that. And I've noticed my oldest daughter dealing with that same thing. And so I was like, I got to give her a fatherism. I got to give her some nuggets of wisdom. And so I shared this, and I say it's change your moves to change your mood. Okay? Change your moves to change your mood. And what I mean by that is exactly. So you're doing it. So you find yourself blood pressure boiling. You're about ready to lose your top. You're sitting and you got crowds of people. You can't get to this stuff. You got a million things on your list, and you're about to just lose it. You know what you do? You just change your mood. You just walk different. You just start walking down the aisles like this, or like take bigger steps. Just start walking like this and stuff. And I promise you that will release something in you where you start to realize, this is silly. You're still in the midst of the chaos, but you start kind of laughing, and you start, you're just kind of like, oh, it almost becomes funny. You're just kind of like, oh, look at this line. It goes all the way around. Boy, I guess my Saturday's burned up. You add some levity to it, and I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it works.
Start doing squats.
Yeah, just right there, right.
Actually, I
next
don't,
to the
because
pickle.
I'll be farting, which might actually clear up the line. Squirt.
People might move.
Yeah,
They'll move
the
just
line's
'cause
gone.
they're afraid of you.
Not only do I feel better, but I've got less pressure actually built up in my body, and everybody left.
So there's that part of it, but also what it gets really good is when you start impacting other people's moods. They look at you, and all of a sudden they start laughing, like, look at that guy, he's walking weird, and then you start to see all of a sudden the whole place is just happy.
There you go. I like it.
Sorry,
that's very cool.
That was a lesson. It wasn't. I didn't learn it, but I learn it. That is something I have to keep when I'm about to lose my top at Target. I gotta. Sometimes I forget to change my moves.
And I've always appreciated how silly you are. You're so comfortable being silly.
Yeah.
That is like
I concur.
That is very difficult for me to do. Silly things.
Yeah. So thank you. I appreciate that.
It's admirable.
Yeah. I don't know. Life is hard, man. So don't have to make it harder on yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There's certain people in your life that lift you up, and there's certain people who don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jordan's a lift you upper guy,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
which
Definitely.
is
I hope so.
no, you are for sure. Things I've been I think every day. I mean, I'm learning to just pay attention more. I think because there's always shit to learn all around you. You know what I mean? Just like learning to appreciate other people's perspectives more, learning to, like my wife, we don't always agree, but I've learned a lot this year about just, in her mind, she makes perfect sense. Try to understand where she's coming from as opposed to this right, wrong thing. I've learned a lot about that. I'm learning Spanish still. That's a daily routine. Learning.
Sure. Say something.
No.
Hey, that's Spanish, isn't it?
Exactly.
You're getting good.
Exactamente. Yeah. But also learning a piano. That's good therapy.
Had you taken lessons in the past on piano, or are you just starting fresh?
Fresh. Yeah. Then it's been every day for the last 6 months,
So you already knew how to read music? You can read sheet music?
No.
You're just doing it by ear?
No, I can learn. I know sheet music now. I didn't when I started.
You didn't? Okay.
No.
Wow. That's impressive.
Well,
do you when people go to your house in Mexico, do you serenade them now?
No, I tell them, fuck off. That's what I always do.
He hides in a closet and plays his piano.
The least you could do is play the piano and say fuck off,
Actually, I have a song that I created. It says it's fuck off is the name of the song. No, but it's fun because I have this goal that someday, there are a couple of friends I have that I really respect and admire, and they're great musicians. And I've always wanted to play with them, like on stage, not just like, jamming is cool, but I'm not there. I can't do that, but it would be such an honor for me. And one of those guys is Oscar Minks. I don't know if you guys know who Oscar Minks is. He's a fantastic guitar player. And someday I want to play on stage with him. And that's, in reality, learning something like piano is, if you want to get to that point, I mean, it's a dedication of at least a half an hour to an hour a day of structured learning for at least 2 years, maybe 3, before you're at that point. So I think a lot of times people struggle with that, with learning. You go through the first time, like even like the CvCISO program, right? It's 10 weeks long and you still haven't mastered it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this continuous like practicing and putting it to use. And maybe we'll do stuff like that, maybe a little bit more in the academy too, because it just takes time. You can't speed it up. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to be proficient enough to be on stage, it just takes the time. So I've learned that,
Cool.
But I think there's always stuff to learn. And every time you learn stuff, it's like it opens up new areas of things. Like last night, I was at dinner with my daughter and my wife and some other lady. I think it was my daughter's friend or something. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to her. We did pay for her, though. Fuck, I should listen to her. But anyway, there was music playing, and I was telling Lydia, some of the music theory behind the music. And I was like, holy crap, that just kind of came natural. I didn't even think about it. That's cool. That you're learning that.
I think sometimes the world works like that. Like it just presents you, like if you choose to learn something, the world will present you. Maybe you just end up looking for those opportunities, but the world tends to present you with opportunities to share it. Like even if I remember, never, I won't go into that. But yeah, if you take the time, you watch a 10-minute YouTube video on something, I promise you, within the next day or two, you'll find a way that it was useful.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about like vCISO and CvCISO work is people try to put it in a bucket. Like they might say, well, what does this have to do with information security? It actually has a lot to do with information security. The biggest thing you can have, I mean, the number one, like greatest skill or gift you can have around information security is situational awareness. Situational awareness is critical. and you apply it to a physical world, you apply it to a digital world, you apply it to whatever, right? Because then it gives you context. You can identify threats before they become realized. You start planning, like doing things like, when you go into a restaurant and you sit down, take note of what the hell's in the restaurant. What kind of people are there? What's the mood like? What's the lighting like? Where's the bathroom? Where are the exits? What kind of neighborhood is this in? You know what I mean? You just put all those things together. And that's a lot of what we do with information security, right? You don't lock it down like Fort Knox if it's in a super safe neighborhood and there's just really no threats there.
Mm-hmm.
But you do all those things, and then you don't do it because I'm paranoid, right? I don't notice that there's 3 exits because I'm paranoid. I'm enjoying my time, but it's that preparation. It just becomes part of your life that, when shit does hit the fan, I know how to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not paranoid. I'm not thinking that shit's actually going to hit the fan. But why not prepare for it? Why not just take note? And I think the same thing with learning. There's opportunities to learn all the time. Are you paying attention?
Yeah, that takes intentionality with me. Like that's energy that because I naturally will just kind of stay in my own bubble, not pay and some of that, sometimes that's a bad thing, but sometimes it's really more like I'm more natural at being focused on one thing. So if I'm looking around the room, I promise you I didn't hear what my wife just said in front of me at the restaurant.
Right. But it is a learned
Yeah.
skill. The thing about situational awareness is it is not, there's some people that are just more gifted at things than other things, but it is absolutely 100%, no doubt, a learned skill.
Yeah.
You can learn to be situationally aware.
They teach that in conceal and carry courses. The whole situational awareness is really big.
It really is. And you take that same thing. So that's your physical world, which we can all relate to easier because we're physical-ish people. You take that to the digital world, like when I'm using my computer. Where am I going? What am I doing? Where did this email come from? If my shit did go to shit, what would I do with my computer? What's my escape? All those things, you just apply it to the digital stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I got down that path, but yeah, situational awareness. If you don't know it, I should find a book for you. I should find a book for people that would be a good book to learn situational awareness. Because I think it makes you a much better VC.
I would read it. Yeah.
All right. 2024 in review. I made a list of just things that I don't know if you remember they happened this year, kind of out in the industry. I can go through the list pretty quick. It's like 10 things, maybe. One is the cyber or the Chinese espionage campaigns were really hot this year. And I don't know if people noticed. They probably didn't. I don't fault them if they didn't. So this would again be part of that situational awareness, just knowing what's going on in the world. And it's okay if you haven't, but it's a good skill to learn. It's a good, if it's a good skill to learn. So, you probably heard of Salt Typhoon. That was it actually happened for a while and it might still be going, but that's where the Chinese were hacking or have hacked or continue to hack the U.S. telecommunications industry.
Mm-hmm.
The giants, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, they were all part of it.
Hmm.
And North Korea is doing a lot of shit too. So
didn't China, weren't they also the ones that sent in the drones? Didn't we have some scare with drones that were flying?
No, they sent
in our country.
They sent a damn balloon across the country.
Balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest damn thing. I can't believe that was our response to that. Oh, look at that. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Should we shoot it down? I don't know. No, probably not. I don't know. It might hurt somebody. Well,
we could have fun with why it happened why the response was that way, considering current administration. But hey, I didn't say that.
And behind closed doors, that's not what it was. But to the public, to me, that's what it seemed like. It was like, that's a big, what is that? Oh, it's like a balloon, maybe? What's it doing? I don't know. Where'd it come from? I don't know. It might be weather balloon. I've never seen something like that before. Well, should we go investigate it? No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. It's really high. I don't think I have a ladder that's tall enough to get up there. Do we have a plane? I don't know. What the hell's a plane? Do we fly those still? Do we got those? I mean, it was just the stupidest damn. It was, yeah, I don't know. I would have shot that son of a bitch down like day one,
Yeah.
especially when it was over like some of the less populated areas, like, Wyoming, Montana,
But there were some drone stuff recently, wasn't there? Isn't there like drone
still going on.
still going on?
New Jersey. Yeah. Primarily New Jersey. It's the East Coast primarily. There's actually stuff, that people are talking about in California and other states too. But that's another thing. It's like somebody somewhere knows what the hell these, is going on, but nobody's sharing it.
Yeah.
And, they've come up with, well, it's legal, just personal drone usage, hobbyists. It's like, no, I don't think that's what it is. Not when you've read some of the stories of people trying to figure out where they come from. And some of these drones are evading your normal detection techniques and things. So there's more to it, but the truth eventually comes out.
I thought
on
I
all
thought
this
it was
stuff.
just the Black Friday specials. Everyone cashed in on drones this year.
Yeah,
And they're
maybe.
flying around.
Maybe because they're saying that some of these drones are like 6 to 8 feet wide. I mean, they're big drones. What hobbyist has a 8-foot drone? And there might be a few hobbyists who do have 8-foot drones, but your normal hobbyist to see this many drones in one place, there's no way they're all 8-foot drones.
Yeah.
I have 2 drones, and they're not 8-foot drones. I got a Mini 3 and just a another DJI motor, drone.
I've got one that's like this, like a web root vendor gave it to me, I think.
Yeah.
It sucks.
seen
It flies right into the wall, and I'm sure it's not my fault.
I watched a video recently of somebody who got one of those for Christmas last year or something and flew it into the fireplace.
Just immediately.
Yeah, that'd be funny. All right, we also had, these are things that I wish more people would. We've kind of become, I think, desensitized to what's going on, sometimes with information security, because the United Health Group
Mhm.
data breach that happened earlier this year with Change Healthcare, which was a subsidiary. United Health Group had bought Change Healthcare somewhat recently, 100 million people. And it wouldn't bother me as much as if it was, financial information or credit card numbers, debit card numbers, even social security card or social security numbers. What bothers me the most about this breach is it's sensitive healthcare information
Yeah.
that I cannot change, and there's a lot of safety issues, and it's super valuable to attackers. And the fact that it was so preventable, you have a large organization that obviously has the budget, the money to do things the right way, was so negligent. And that's what led to this attack taking place. Single factor authentication, lack of patching, easy pivots, no real detection. I mean, it was a shit show that happened in 2024. Krispy Kreme cyber attack. Do not hack my fucking donuts. That happened this year. Game Freak data breach. Game Freak is the one, the Pokemon. Game Freak is the developer behind Pokemon. That was a big breach this year. SEC cybersecurity. We had a whole bunch of SEC enforcement actions that took place this year that we should be paying attention to more, because I think it's an attempt by certain parts of the federal government to try to figure out who's accountable. Now, who do we hold accountable for these breaches? Unfortunately, I think the SEC is kind of barking up the wrong tree. I think they're including the CISO in the accountability. And there's certainly places where a CISO should have some accountability, but ultimate accountability lies with the board of directors, and that's where they should be going. And we're not seeing that yet as much. But some of these things lead to predictions of what to expect in 2025 too.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
What's the scariest? What's the outcome of that? Like, what are the possible?
Nothing yet. They've made some, filed some actions against people, but none of them have been fully settled. They're still being hashed out. I mean, the federal government is so damn slow.
Yeah.
On healthcare breaches, the Department of Health and Human Services is the one who essentially enforces HIPAA OCR, the Office for Civil Rights, this is just as an example. Office for Civil Rights is the one who is the enforcement arm of DHS for HIPAA. They don't do audits. They only do investigations. So after a breach that's significant enough, you might get a calling from the OCR. And then the whole process from the time the breach happened until the time when there's actually an enforcement action is 5 years, maybe. It's like, shit. Because in the meantime, a lot of people are waiting, like, okay, what's going to be the outcome? Because that would be a factor in our risk equation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the impact, right? You've got likelihood and impact. I'm getting my head around the likelihood piece, but so what if there's a big breach? If nobody gives a shit, well, then there's no damn impact. So why do I care? And that's the bad reality of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apple had some iOS vulnerability, the 18 bug, the iOS 18. Most of us are probably running iOS 18.2, maybe 18.3 if you're running a current iPhone. There was a bug with 18. So if you're running 18.2, 18.3, you're fine. But there was a bug in 18 was a huge wake-up call because Apple generally is pretty tight on these kinds of things. But that bug was kind of a big deal. The thing to learn from that is keep your devices up to date.
Patch your shit.
Patch your damn shit. I can't patch it for you. And I could. But a collapse of IronNet. IronNet's a firm that was very interesting when it started out, and most people have never even heard of IronNet before. But if you Google IronNet, it was a whole bunch of former NSA people, including a former NSA director who started this firm, this cybersecurity firm, and it was a big deal because it was like, oh man, these guys are really going to know their shit. That they're going to dominate. Well, they went out of business now. They're gone, pretty much this year. I think the lesson there is it doesn't matter how much experience you have in this industry, you still make mistakes. It doesn't mean you're a good business person. That was a big deal. The IronNet one. Certainly a rise this last year in AI-powered cyber attacks. AI is more popular than ever. And, whether it's AI being used to craft my phishing email, AI being used to help me code a new exploit, AI being used to do OSINT investigation on whoever my target is. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can use AI to aid in attacks. And then, there's certainly the deep fake stuff.
Is it too late to fix it? Fix where we're at with it?
No, but it's not too late, but nobody's going to want to do it. They've already had a taste of the drug, man. And that's the thing. It seems like in general, society is just a technology addict.
Yeah.
And once they've had a taste, it's like, it'd be the same as like a heroin addict or a crystal meth addict. Once they get a taste, man, they're hooked.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to fix it, you'd have to, take drugs away from an addict. That's about what it's going to be like.
Jeez, yeah.
But the thing about an addict too is eventually it all comes to a head. Now, eventually you do hit rock bottom. Eventually either you die or shit has just gotten so bad that you have to stop.
You think rock bottom is 2025? You think it's farther down?
No, I do think it's farther down, but I think it's on its way. I mean, and I'm not one of those guys that, it's logic. It's not a fear thing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, freak out. It's like, no, just think about this path that we're on and where it's going to lead. Use logic, look at things, see what's, the situational awareness thing. It's only if you continue to make poor choices, the consequences just build up. If you haven't suffered the consequences along with the poor choices you've made, because usually they're commensurate, right? Poor choice, it was a small poor choice, usually small consequence, right? But when you make a lot of small poor choices and you haven't suffered the consequences yet, the consequences just kind of ball up and then they come crashing down, right? So it's like a white lie, probably not much of a consequence, but if you have a white lie, you keep doing that and you're not suffering any consequences, eventually it comes crashing down.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really big consequence because you've taken an aggregate of consequences. So you just continue like AI. I mean, what are the rules? What's legitimate? What's ethical use of AI? I may have my own, you may have your own, but the thing is, the makers and the money makers who are putting AI out into the market, they don't care. They're making lots and lots and lots of money. I think things in 2025 that are going to be interesting is AI will become more of a nightmare for people. It'll also, I mean, there's benefits. It's like any tool, right? I can use it to do this and do that, and it's awesome. That's true. But it can also be used, to take your fucking head off, So we'll have to figure that out. Quantum is going to be, you're going to hear a hell of a lot more about post-quantum cryptography in the next 12 months. So essentially, quantum computing renders your current encryption algorithms useless because of the power behind quantum computing. It can calculate, you can calculate like on a brute force attack, for instance, like going through the keys, brute force attacks always work. It's just, do you have enough time, enough computing power? Well, quantum does. And so that's going to be interesting.
Have they standardized on a quantum encryption yet? They're doing like,
yeah, they finalized their first quantum. So NIST is who does that,
right?
They finalized their first quantum resistant algorithms this year. So if you Google that, you'll find it, and they'll also provide some guidance. I think in 2025 you'll see more guidance on how to implement those things. Yeah, but that's definitely coming. You'll see more cloud shit. I don't know if you remember in 2024 this year we had CrowdStrike.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt a lot of people, right? And there's some consequences, right? I mean, that's what happens. And Microsoft had more than a few issues with securing their cloud infrastructure. So I think 2025 you're going to see more of that. I think you will see additional, because they're just huge moneymakers for the attackers. Not to mention just making simple mistakes like not testing your code before you deploy it to half the damn world.
It still comes back to the basics. That's
right. Well,
that's why this mission continues daily, and it's still just pounding the basics.
Right. And what's the accountability? It's still ongoing. There's still lawsuits happening and what have you, but what did CrowdStrike get other than a slap on the wrist for this?
Yeah.
If you've raised kids before, the importance of consequences, right? It's how you correct shitty behaviors. So we definitely need more of that. And it's not all negative, right? But in 2025, how you can use these things by being situationally aware is you can use these things as an advantage for yourself, for your family, for your customers, for your business. Knowing the situation, knowing situational awareness just puts you in a much better position to prepare for these things. It's the world, right? The world is this way. So it shouldn't be negative. You can take these things and certainly make these things a positive for you, for your customers, by getting them out ahead of it. Another thing we're going to see, and I'll wrap up, but this will be the last one before, hey, Merry Christmas, I guess, is cyber insurance. I think 2025, it's going to cost you more to buy cyber insurance than it would if you just had done information security right. Last year, I think globally, insurance premiums rose 28%.
Wow.
And the cool thing, so here's a success story. A friend of mine who uses Security Studio, who's a mentee of mine, he was so excited because the work that he put forward over the last 12 months or something, they got a 30% reduction on their cyber insurance premium.
Nice.
Right? And so that's the positive stuff, right? So you take the negative thing, oh God, cyber insurance is going to cost us more money. But if you do things right, while the rest of your competition is paying 28% more, you're paying 30% less. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
So
helps pay for the tool.
Oh, it more than paid for the tool. And what does it do for your career? I mean, he's the guy that okay, I thought security people were like the no guy, the no people, and it's just a cost center. But you just saved us 30% on our insurance. You're like the damn Geico guy now,
Yeah, hey, a caveman could do it.
Yeah. But imagine if you did this with your CvCISO practice, right? If you could tout that the work that you put forward, one of the benefits, other than, all the other benefits that you could potentially quantify, just take this one. We just saved one of our customers 30% on their cyber insurance premium. Awesome. That's great for your business, and you can take that to other customers. It also gives you confidence, like, shit, we must really be doing something right because we have that external validation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the cool thing, there's tons of things to be thankful for, right? I'm so grateful for 2024, all these lessons that were learned. The world is a dangerous place, right? But that's our job as information security people, is to protect people.
Amen.
So these are the dangers. I'm here to provide value, to try to protect us from those things and look for ways that we can capitalize and make ourselves better, make our businesses better by being, situationally aware.
Yeah. And I think, you say protect people. I think it's hard. It's not even necessarily protection. I mean, there's a part of it that's protection, but it's helping them protect themselves. And
Amen.
And it goes back to the very beginning of starting by managing their risks well. Like that's what it ends up all coming back to. You're not just out there just taking bullets for them. You're helping them manage their own risks.
Yeah, and if anything, I'm not taking bullets for you, because at least if you took your own bullet, you'd feel the pain, and that would be your consequence. So you would be better off. It's like when you watch your kids make mistakes. Sometimes you let them make mistakes because there's a lesson in making the mistake. Daddy's not going to save you. Daddy will be here if you really needed the saving. Like, yeah, this is going to maybe kill you. Yeah, I would help and I would step in. But if this is like, yeah, I'm going to do some reckless behavior and I might break an arm, well, you probably won't do that next time. And I think that's where love is. It sounds corny, but I love our customers. I try to love them. It wouldn't do you any good if I was just always the person that was there protecting you, because you wouldn't learn any lessons from it. You wouldn't be a better business from it. And you'd be too reliant on me, and I'm not reliable. So fuck off.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, fuck off again.
And we got to have that E on our podcast again.
Heck yeah. Hey, so by the time people listen to this, it will have been Christmas, and Merry Christmas. Hopefully you had a fantastic time with your family. Hopefully you understand the purpose behind Christmas, which truly is love. It's not gifts. Gifts is part of love, right? And all that shit, but it's truly love. And you guys felt that, and that will re-energize you for going out and kicking ass, setting good goals for 2025, and winning.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Is to learn from 2024 to forge ahead in 2025 and make whatever improvements need to be made, both personally and professionally.
Amen. Amen, sister.
Amen.